Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So I have just completed the initial clear of 9.2, and this video is going to be kind of my feedback on the quests themselves, and also obviously on the final boss, Loten, which actually design wise I liked a lot. I enjoyed the fight, but there is a very big caveat to it. So first of all, let's start with the generic quest content. And as far as I can see, not too much was changed from beta. Maybe a couple of champion swaps, but fairly minor change in general. And looking at nodes, obviously there's a ton of nodes. There's still a huge learning curve. But despite all that, you see most of these nodes. What's the best way to put it? There's pretty much nowhere or in very few places you could actually notice any damage boost at this point, combining with the fairly substantial health pools and some of the niche requirements. It is not unsurprising to get like 3-4 minute fights. In some boss fights I had to do like a 5-minute fight. Obviously, you know, I'm sure there are quicker counters, but in general, the overall feeling clearing this was not particularly difficult. It is entirely down to your RPG knowledge. Fights themselves are like fairly straightforward. The big issue here is, yeah, actually reading, comprehending, understanding the nodes and what they entail, and then actually getting through the fight. Because no questions asked, this is a bit of a slog. At the very least, it feels like a bit of a slog. And that was my general kind of like impression, clearing the content through. I guess the keyword here is fine, but somewhat tedious. Because, yeah, it's not. It's a different level of engagement from challenging piece of content, the challenge content, the endgame content, and I kind of get it. Kabam has moved in that direction. Therefore, for most part, from my initial completion, I think most of the lanes were, you know, have the right type of champion, do X, and you're fine. And that's very accessible, I'd say, for most part. But yeah, it's not the most thrilling experience in itself. But again, for story content, I think that is fine. Now, the boss fight is typically where they knock it out of the park. The boss fights, whoever's designing them, almost always does a great job. And this isn't really an exception. I will be making a separate video on the boss, obviously, as well as do the full exploration run. I did clear it. If you're going to ask me how many items was required, I actually ended up using like 2 revives, but those 2 revives should not even have been there. The rest of the quest obviously was done without any revives, without any items. I also got to the boss and effectively almost got the boss down without using any revives, just kind of like utilizing all the champions in my team as I was properly learning the fight. And what's the best way to put it? I like the boss fight a lot. There is, however, to me personally, this affected me a lot, and I know for a fact that there will be people who are unaffected by it, but this one thing completely ruins the gameplay experience for a ton of people. There is already a forum thread on about it as well, where dynamic background on Loten fight causing severe lag on iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is also the phone that I use, and I'm sure there will be other phones too. So effectively, what's the best way to put it? If your phone has trouble with a champion, let's say like Dust, you are not going to have a good time in this fight, despite it being quite well designed. And yeah, obviously we have the wall of text. The fight is kind of simpler. Seems there are a few very useful infographics and pieces of information that have been put out there by Simula and also other people. But the fight itself is definitely doable. the main kind of like new gimmick of this fight, if you will, is that there's like this big actually forgot how it's called, maelstrom. There's this big maelstrom, kind of like a big storm, big tornado in the background, and it changes its size, and effectively it works similar to the green doors of the leader, where if you're in it, you can start taking degen damage. So typically you want to be either in your corner or push opponent their corner. And as soon as you enter it, as soon as like those degens and all the other mechanics start coming into play, the phone, to me, it just immediately started lagging to a point where parrying is impossible, where dexing is nigh impossible. If Loten is throwing a special attack and I'm in the maelstrom, I'm dexing just by, frantically swiping, trying to guess the timing, and it's quite awful. Now, when you actually get out of that maelstrom, when you actually are operating in the corners, which is like 2 of the phases mainly, then the fight's fine. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I brought in a whole bunch of science champions. Deathless She-Hulk did great, Silk did fine, Photon did well, and like a Red Guardian, he was a bit too squishy because he was 6-star, he didn't do that great, and the lag got me. And for the most part, any science champions that you have highly ranked will do fine here. Because she's Mystic, you do not want to use Cosmics due to the character specifics. Again, I will make a separate video on the boss itself. But that lag, was quite bone-shattering. And again, I'm not using an old phone. This is like 1 year old max spec phone at a time. So it's like a bit over a year old. And it was like the most powerful iPhone that you could get at that time. That was like, what is it, like 1,500 pounds? 1,600 euro phone. By all means, a year later, I should not be dealing with this stuff. On the other hand, if you do not have problems with the lag in the dust fights and stuff like that, then you will more than likely be, just about fine, and you're going to have a good time. You just need to practice the fight a little bit. The main thing is to learn to dex the level 1 and actually understand what you need to do. There is a graphic for that. Let me try and find that very quickly for you as well. But again, I will make another video on the Loten boss itself, probably tomorrow because it's quite late. So here is effectively the cheat code. So in phase 1, you want to push Loten back against her wall, and then once you do, you want to, do a second medium or level 1. Then in phase 2, you want to be against the wall, and you want to drop your force light hit or activate the striker. Phase 3, stay between a wall and the maelstrom. In that space there, you need to be parrying a special 2. And then in phase 4, you and Loten are in maelstrom. That's a lag city for me. And then in phase 5, you effectively need to dex the second hit of her special 1, and then phase through the last hit. Well, second to last and last hit phase through. I believe this is from Simula video as well, so he did definitely do a very good job explaining the fight. But it was genuinely quite a good and fun fight. Again, I think it's fine that Kabam pushes and invents these new mechanics. Do not think is okay is that they release content that immediately lags a significant percentage of phones. And that, genuinely kind of ruined the experience. I now wish I could do this fight again for the first time ever without any meaningful lag. And because of this fight, I have been watching like YouTube videos now immediately how to try and improve my iPhone performance, reduce the strain, disabling location settings, all that type of stuff. I don't feel like I should be doing on a year-old phone just to make sure that I can actually do the fight. But besides that, design on the champion I think is very good. I think she looks cool, animations are cool. I think the fight itself has quite interesting quirky mechanics like that. I think the rest of the quest is fairly dull, but you know, story content has kind of gotten that way since the olden days, but that's fine. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. How you guys tried the boss yet or no? I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.
Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the